This is Riverside Stadium, home to Championship club Middlesbrough FC. Hello, my name is Richard and welcome to another episode of Grassroots Football Journeys, where we look at the history and home grounds of another local football club. In this episode we're going to feature a club with a long history of experience and many ups and downs. This is the story of Middlesbrough FC. Middlesbrough is a town in North Yorkshire and lies on the south bank of the River Tees. Its name derives from its location between Durham and Whitby, literally Middle Fortress. It's most famous as the birthplace of Captain James Cook, but other famous people to have been born here include Roy Chubby Brown, Paul Daniels, Bob Mortimer and Chris Rea. In football terms, it's the birthplace of Brian Clough, Chris Kamara, Don Revie and former Premier League referee Jeff Winter. Football was first played here as long ago as 1876 when Middlesbrough Cricket Club formed a football section. Initially the club played at Archery Ground here at Albert Park, which was named after Prince Albert. But after just 2 years, the council forced the club to move out after damage was caused to the park by players and spectators. The park now hosts this memorial of one of Middlesbrough's most famous sons, the aforementioned Brian Clough. In 1878 the club moved to Brexton Hill Road, playing on land behind what was then known as the Middlesbrough College Longland site. Middlesbrough FC played here for 4 years until the landowners increased the rent, so the club was forced to find another new home. In 1882 Middlesbrough moved into the Linford Cricket Ground to share with their forefathers Middlesbrough Cricket Club. The ground had been opened in 1875 and football was first played here in 1880. The cricket club moved out in 1883 and this was the home to Middlesbrough FC when they were elected to the Football League Division 2 in 1899. The ground subsequently hosted their first ever Football League match, a defeat to Small Heath in front of a crowd of 10,000 fans. The record attendance here was 17,000 for a match against Everton in 1902. With the ground having only one grandstand and a small seated area, and with the club growing quickly after elections to the Football League, Middlesbrough were forced to leave Linford Road in 1903. The final match here was a 1-1 draw versus Stoke City in April of that year, and the land was initially used to house the St Aidan's Church before being turned into this housing estate. Middlesbrough moved in to Ayresome Park in 1903. It had been built adjacent to the Paradise Ground, which was the home of former Football League club Middlesbrough Ironopolis. When Ironopolis were liquidated in 1894, part of the ground was used to build Ayresome Park, with the rest being developed into housing. The ground would remain Middlesbrough FC's home for more than 90 years, barring one match in the mid-1990s, which we'll come on to shortly. With a capacity of over 50,000, the ground, like Sunderland's Roker Park, which we featured in an earlier episode, was used as a host venue for the 1966 World Cup and staged North Korea's shock win over Italy. When the club hit financial problems in the summer of 1986, they arrived at Ayresome Park to find the gates locked, and they were forced to play their opening home match of the season 16 miles away here at Hartlepool United's Victoria Ground, a club we'll feature in a future episode. With the very future of the club in doubt, an 11th hour bid from a consortium led by current club chairman Steve Gibson saved the club, and they moved back into Ayresome Park to become founder members of the Premier League in 1992. By then the Taylor Report had forced clubs to have all-seater stadiums by 1994, and with Ayresome Park surrounded by houses and with very little room for expansion, the decision was made to move. The last match here was a 2-1 victory over Luton Town in April 1995, and after the ground was initially retained as the club's training facility, it was demolished in 1997 to be replaced by this housing estate. Like Roker Park, there are street names such as the Turnstile and the Midfield to serve as a reminder of the history that has taken place here. Built on the Middlehaven site next to the River Tees and constructed by Taylor Woodrow at a cost of £16 million, Middlesbrough FC moved into the Riverside Stadium in July 1995. The name was chosen by fans of the club, and the first match here saw a 2-0 victory over Chelsea. The stadium has hosted 3 England international matches, and the Lionesses played here twice in the 2022 Arnold Clark Cup. As well as football, the Riverside Stadium was also a host venue for the 2021 Rugby World Cup and has also hosted numerous music concerts. This year the stadium almost became a Premier League venue for the first time since 2017, but Middlesbrough FC lost to Sheffield United in the Championship playoffs. My name is Richard and this has been another episode of Grassroots Football Journeys. If you have enjoyed this episode, please give us a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. As well as these great little football documentaries, we also bring you some unique drone footage and many other vlogs and day out videos. We'll be back next time with another episode of Grassroots Football Journeys, where we look at the history and home grounds of another local football club. Join us for that one coming very soon. And don't forget to stay tuned for the drone footage to follow.